G'day guys, if you're enjoying the MacPack podcast half as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you, the best way that you can help us out is by passing it on to a friend.
That's right. Share a little clip or send them the full show and say, skip to this minute mark for the greatest laugh of your of your Friday. Brighten up their Friday by sending them a link to the MacPack.
Exactly right. G'day and welcome to the MacPack.
We're back.
My name's Jamie Carey. To my left this week, on the biggest Ben Lee fan on the panel. It's my little brother Joe. How are you, Joe boy?
Yes, I've caught my disease and we're all in this together. Let's go.
And to my right, coming to 6'1" as he does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack, who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
Musical legend Ben Lee on the pod today.
Australian music royalty.
Yes.
Catch my disease.
We're all in this together.
Cigarettes will kill you.
Cigarettes will
The
kill
list
you.
goes on.
There's so many ripping songs.
The industry super fun theme song.
Sure.
Guy.
He's been a superstar for approaching 30 years in the music industry. If you haven't heard of him,
You're an
you've
idiot.
been living under the world's biggest rock. We are absolutely thrilled to be chatting with Ben Lee today.
Yes.
Chats about music, he chats about life, he chats about Nathan Fielder.
Yes.
It's all up for grabs. You're listening to the MacPack. Let's get into it. Boys.
Brother Mingos.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Good to be here this morning. Jakey boy, who we got on the line?
Yeah, we're fired up. We've got, I guess, music royalty in Australia.
Yes, sir.
He started his career at just the age of 14 and has gone on to produce about 20-odd albums
Oh, wow.
since then. He's won a handful of arias, including one for Catch My Disease in
Tune.
2005, sorry.
Yeah.
And this year, as part of 2025,
Yeah.
during September and October of this year, he is back touring as part of the 20th anniversary of Awake is the New Sleep, which is very exciting indeed. We are obviously joined by one of Australia's greatest ever singer-songwriters, Mr. Ben Lee. How are you, Ben Lee?
I'm doing good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Really good, thank you, mate. Really good. We often start the podcast with a bit of a chat around how we first became aware of the person that we are chatting with. And I guess for me, it comes back from, we've talked about this previously, but
Yep.
Dad used to just love playing the radio and we'd always be watching Rage or Video Hits on Channel 10 from memory as well. And you always seem to have elite music videos during this period and they'd just always be on repeat. Have you always had obviously you're big in the music space, but the music video space as well, has that always been a very important aspect of the whole concept to you as well?
I mean, it's always been important just because it is important. Like whether you care about it or not, it's important. I think it's something I used to do more resentfully. It was just something you had to do. It's kind of been cool the way the internet has affected the music video where there's sort of less rules. It's basically just about can it have an impact and set a vibe. It's something I've just increasingly over the years been like, hey, this is an amazing tool for getting the song across, and then it becomes an art form in its own right. And, you know, it's a great thing. It's one of those things we've, as musicians, begrudgingly accepted and then learned to thrive in.
Yeah, I like it.
What's your favorite one that you worked on?
Well, the last video I did for my last record, this one's for the old heads, I did a song called Heavy Metal, a single, and Nash Edgerton, who I've worked with over the years, and we did it together in LA, and
Nash,
we recreated
from Mr.
Mr.
In Between.
Yeah. So we've done a bunch of videos together, and yeah, we recreated a heavy metal documentary from the 80s called The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, and I played Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons, and that was really fun, just playing dress up and stuff.
Yeah, sick.
Taking you back to the start, when you were 14 years old, you had your first band, Noise Addict. What are those boys doing now? You still keeping in touch with the Noise Addict boys? Are they still part of your career these days?
I wouldn't say they're part of my career. They're friendships. Daniel Kahn, we saw each other recently. Saul, the drummer, he's around. He does percussion workshops and stuff and teaches a lot of like music therapy and stuff like that. And Romy, who was playing guitar sort of the last part of Noise Addict, she's a great musician. She's in a band called Agenda, and we catch up every now and then. So yeah, it's, you know, those formative experiences you go through with people, it's a bond that you can never you never shake.
Yeah, Noise Addict really did well, especially for such a you guys were so young when you were doing that. You opened for Sonic Youth when you were 15.
Yeah,
and also
exactly.
In your song I Wish I Was Him, you mentioned both Pavement and the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on the timeline. Was that before you opened for Pavement as well?
Yeah, it was.
Was
it
that
was
a
sort of
manifestation?
I mean, that was just the cool bands of the time, and that's who we wanted to play with and be around. It was such a magical time. It was funny. Last night I went to the Lemonheads were in town, and the guys from Smudge were there, and it was a real the 90s was such an interesting time, full of a lot of untreated mental illness and just great indie rock.
As a result, maybe. How was it going out on your own once you left Noise Addict? Like, was that pretty daunting? Oh, yeah. You're only 15, 16.
Well, it was interesting because I never really intended to go solo. That was a time when solo artists, it was just like there was Michael Bolton and Bryan Adams and stuff. Okay. Like you wouldn't think of like indie rock as being a solo artist. It seemed like corny. Everything was bands. But it just happened that I was writing so many songs that I was recording the demos acoustically on a boombox. I had a Sony boombox, and I used to drop them round to Steve Pav, who lived close by me, who was like my sort of manager, label guy. And he got really into them, and he was like, have you ever thought about recording these by yourself? So it was a very accidental type thing. It ended up working out for the best because the band, it wasn't like a real band. It was sort of like I was so ambitious, and it was just whoever I could get whose older brothers had instruments. They got to be in the band. It was a very Darwinian self-selecting process. But at the end of the day, going solo, it allowed me to sort of surround myself by, I guess, proper musicians who wanted to do it. And I mean, I think the fact is, when you look at Noise Addict, except for Romy, the rest of the band didn't really go on to do bands professionally. Yeah. So that's a clear indicator that wasn't their destiny.
Yeah, that's
so in a way it was good. Like going solo, I got to just sort of start working with people that was their destiny.
Yeah, cool.
That's when you really started to blow up as well. Ben, one of our favorite competitions here in Australia, Triple J's Hottest 100. You've come second twice.
Yes.
Cigarettes Will Kill You and Catch My Disease.
Yeah.
You fell short to the Offspring's Pretty Fly for a White Guy and Bernard Fanning's Wish You Well. How did it feel?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Some tough competition there as well.
Yeah. How did it feel coming so close twice? And do you think you'll ever make a track that will hit that number one spot? Because obviously you're still making music.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think coming second is like highly underrated. There's something about Terence McKenna, who is this sort of psychedelic philosopher. Someone once asked him, why have you never been arrested? And he said, oh, that's easy. I always speak to crowds of less than 5,000 people. And there was something about what you can get away with just standing to the side of the spotlight. Oh. And I actually feel like it's sort of like my destiny to be second. I really feel, I own the space. I feel really just fortunate and comfortable there, and I'm not really aspiring to be number one. So I don't know. It works for me.
I like that.
Good answer.
That was nice. When you were super young, you did a press release initially where you went on to say, I think it was either you were the greatest singer-songwriter that Australia's ever seen, or you released the greatest album of any Australian ever. And as Riley mentioned, the before-mentioned Powderfinger star Bernard Fanning sort of clapped back pretty hard at the time. I noticed that you mentioned him on your podcast a couple of weeks ago. Has he, maybe talk us through what happened at the time and then talk us through if he's reached out to you ever since then?
Well, I think the thing is that for me, the music is sort of one side of things, and the other side is the media and being a public figure and seeing what you can do with that. I've always been really interested in that. I never wanted to just release music anonymously and not have personality and kind of the fun of playing with the media. I've always been interested in like people like Bob Dylan and David Bowie and, and then Andy Kaufman was a really big influence who was, a comedian. And I just was interested in like pushing buttons and stuff. And it just became, It was interesting because it was sort of a joke in a way, like going, oh my God, it's so blasphemous in Australia.
I think also in the quote you said AC/DC's Back in Black was okay, but this is better, which I feel including that is like, oh, he's
doing
taking the piss.
Yeah, exactly. And it was quite interesting because do you know Robbie Williams, that song Kids?
Yeah,
You know, the duet with Kylie? He has a rap in that was like Kylie had been showing him like all that stuff I was doing, and he thought it was so funny, and that's why he sings that line apparently. I've been dropping beats since Back in Black. It was like inspired by that. But yeah, so I think I got really interested in the idea of, okay, for my personal journey as an Australian creative person, but also as a figure in culture, what is the most outrageous thing you could do? And that is just having this complete confidence and arrogance, because it's like not allowed in Australian culture. I mean, it's more so now. Now it's not that uncommon to have artists like, you know, talking themselves up and everything. But then it was just completely, like, especially in indie rock, you were barely allowed to want a career. So anyway, so that was just my whole thing. I just thought it was really funny. But some people took genuine offense at it, and some journalists and some other artists. And it's quite funny because I think if I was completely untalented, it would have been almost more obviously a joke. Like if I was just like, if I was literally just like singing out of tune, making noise, you know, whatever. The fact that or if I was absolutely undeniably brilliant, it would also have been sort of a more clearer, like, oh, okay, this is serious.
Yeah.
If Freddie Mercury said that or something, you know what I mean? The fact that it was me who's like a moderately successful, reasonably talented singer-songwriter, like it just made it, we put it in this murky gray area where no one knew how seriously to take it. And that's actually, again, that's like coming second in the Hottest 100. I love the ambiguity of that space. And I think that's what pissed people off the most, that they couldn't tell whether I was joking or not. And to be honest, neither could I. So anyway, you know, that's basically, and Bernard, I don't know, got like his feathers ruffled by it or something. And that's, you know, they were working a more traditional route to success, which was sort of the live music circuit in Australia, which was not what I was doing. I mean, I played live, but I was playing with the media.
Yeah, true.
And I found that sort of funny. And nowadays, everyone does that, you know? And that's what social media is. We're all just like playing a game with presentation and what's real and what isn't. And it's almost like there's an appreciation now for the ability to shape a media narrative, which there didn't used to be. So yeah, I don't know. It's fun to look back on, and I still like to do that. I try and use it for good instead of evil nowadays. But you never know. Sometimes it gets evil.
Has there been any communication with Bernard since back then?
Especially after he like just snagged you in the Hottest 100. Was there any back and forth?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, it's so funny because like I continue to harp on it. He probably just pushes the whole thing because I have no animosity towards the guy, but it's funny, like every couple of years I'll bring it up again. It's like I'm so proud of it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm who's the guy who Muhammad Ali beat in Africa, you know? Like I'm like that guy, you know what I mean? Like he's Muhammad Ali.
I love it. We've been doing the podcast.
George Foreman.
Oh, there you go. We've been doing the podcast now for about 5 years. If people play any episodes back from maybe even 12 months ago, we feel a bit awkward listening back because we're quite embarrassed about the work we've done. When you've got so many hit songs that you made, like some up to 20, 25 years old, do you feel any sense of like embarrassment or cringe about having to play them so frequently?
Well, look, the hits are not the ones I'm embarrassed about.
That's true. That's true.
The hits are the ones you're proud of. No, look, I've always prized creativity and experimentation above perfection.
Yeah.
So I've had a large output of work, and some of it I'm more proud of than others. Some of it is more successful. I don't mean that commercially. I mean artistically successful. Like some of it lands where I wanted it to, or lands somewhere brilliantly that I wasn't expecting it to. And others doesn't quite make it, but I honor it as like a diary entry or something. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've come to because when I do these, especially when I play solo, I just do these sort of sprawling live sets that I'm just playing requests and, all kinds of stuff. And I can see that there's a place for all of it, basically.
Yeah,
nice. So,
it's like part of the mosaic.
I'm embarrassed, but it's okay.
Yeah. When you're creating an album like Awake Is the New Sleep, it has 14 tracks on it, and 3 of them are your 3 biggest songs. You've got Gamble Everything, For Love, Catch My Disease, and We're All in This Together. When you're recording them, do you have a feeling about a specific song? You're like, this one's going to go big? Or are there any songs on that album or other albums where you were not expecting them to go big and they did?
Well, firstly, Catch My Disease I knew was like the hit, but I didn't know how big that song was going to be for sure. Like, also because it's such a cheeky song. And Cigarettes Will Kill You similarly, I mean, from Breathing Tornadoes, because it doesn't have like the word cigarettes will kill you in the title. Yeah. It's like a weird lyrical idea. They've surprised me, some of them, how big they were. But you usually just have okay, for me, there's sort of 2 types of hits, right? There are hits where people go into the studio to try and make a hit. Yeah. Right? So sometimes like I'll talk to people's managers or labels and they'll be like, yeah, there's 3 hits on the record. As if, I don't know, I've never written like that. To me, the hits are just the best songs you've written. So I've never really been formulaic of what a hit needs to be or is. So yeah, I just go like, those are good songs. Like Gamble Everything for Love was actually bigger than I expected it to be, because it's just this like rambling folk song sort of, but it's got a good vibe to it. So I guess, I don't know. And also sometimes, I mean, almost every time I put out a single, I think this has the potential to be the biggest song I've ever, like that's why I'm putting it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I really believe in it. So yeah, I guess I'm a bad judge of it, but I do, when I was on tour in 1997, Matchbox 20 were playing before me around the US.
That's sick.
And I did not know they were going to be as big as they turned out to be. But that one song that was, I want to push you down and I will. Every night they played that, I was like, that's a sick song. You know what I mean? So you can recognize something even if you don't know to what level it's going to work.
Yeah, it's sick.
That's cool.
Your music sort of became the unofficial song of the pandemic, but even like over the journey, we've noticed your songs are in Coca-Cola commercials, they're in superannuation commercials. Where's the weirdest place or have you ever been approached by? What's the weirdest person you've ever been approached by to place your song?
Well, Catch My Disease was the national rail transit, the official rail transit song for Spain for a year or 2, which was really funny. I mean,
that train bug.
Yeah, like licensing in general in movies, it's kind of amazing where people want to hear songs and what they, I don't know, the way they see it. Like I remember, I've had songs in kind of like, like How to Survive a Broken Heart from Something to Remember Me By. That's like a very personal kind of angsty song. The Farrelly brothers heard that and they licensed that, and that's the song that Cameron Diaz enters on roller skates in Something About Mary.
Yeah, right.
And that they felt this summery crush kind of thing in it. I guess that's what the vibe that made them want to put it there. But it was a very angsty song about heartbreak. So it's just interesting how licensing can recontextualize songs too.
Yeah, that's true. And you don't fight it. You just go, yeah, no worries. This is the check and thanks for coming.
I mean, I've always been pretty pragmatic about that. Like I know that I'm not that there's a glass ceiling on what I can achieve, but I'm not Michael Jackson or Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran. Like there's a degree to which I've always been more more interested in kind of cultural influence than in massive popularity.
Yep.
And I've been really lucky to have some periods of massive popularity, but it wasn't what I was chasing. I was always trying to make something interesting and cool and subversive and catchy and, So yeah, I don't know. I always find if someone will pay you to use a song and that can keep the lights on, you're very lucky.
Have you ever said no to a brand or a movie or a TV show or anything?
Yeah, I have. I mean, some of them are sometimes I'll do like give free, licensing to something if I believe in, if it's like an indie small project or something.
Oh, cool.
But sometimes it's like not particularly good. They just don't have enough money, and you actually end up lowering the value of the song by licensing.
Yeah.
Like you can't say yes to everything. Like Catch My Disease, it's a song that has a value in the licensing world. So if I just say yes to everyone that's got $1,500, it ends up just bringing it way down.
Yeah.
So you just can't say yes. And there's only one big one that I was advised to say no to. It was right after I won all the arias for that, where it just Catch My Disease, like the argument that was put to me by my publisher at the time was that it was like for a Honda commercial or something. And they said, you're at risk of oversaturating the song, which in the long term could bring down the value.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It's funny because now I just don't think that matters at all. Like that is still a real early 2000s mentality about licensing and sync. Now you just say yes to anyone that can pay.
Because it's like Charlie XCX's song was on the
KFC,
KFC commercial for about 2 years. She came out pretty recently. I knew no mates that came with like, I need KFC as like they were wearing a shirt to her gig, and it's like that's how they know her to some degree. So it can be done.
I have a lot of like senior citizens with their I've invested in industry super fund.
You have done some stuff which surprised me on research. Josh Radnor who's Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. You've performed with him. You've put out a few albums and whatnot. I had no idea about any of this. How did that all come about?
Just mates. Like he's a very sort of like experimental creative guy too, and he just wanted to like learn how to write a song in a way because he's written poems and scripts and stuff. And so we got together and wrote a song, and then we wrote another one, and then it was like, I don't know, should we make an album? And then we did a Facebook Live when that was a thing. And I don't know if you guys have Brazilian fans, but they are the most hardcore. Come to Brazil. So they started with the Come to Brazil, and next thing a promoter offered us a tour of Brazil, and so we went and toured Brazil, and then it just kind of kept going.
That's crazy. Very cool. I like that. Same goes for Zooey Deschanel from New Girl, from Elf, from 100 Days of Summer. How did you get a relationship with her? How have you guys become friends?
Well, before all of that, she was just a up and coming actress, like just in indies and everything. And she was actually dating a friend of mine. That's how we met. And her first time singing in the studio was on a project of mine. There's a song called You're the Reason, which is you can listen on Spotify. Yeah, okay. She did a great performance. I wrote this song for her to sing. And I don't know, just sort of stayed friends. It was interesting because I actually gave her, when we were just getting to know each other, when she sang that, I gave her the Death Cab for Cutie album, Transatlanticism. Yep. It had just come out. I was like, oh, you should hear this. You'd like this record. She ended up marrying the guy.
That's outrageous.
So be careful what music you turn your friends onto is the moral of that story.
That's so good. Ben, you're no stranger to podcasts. You've got your own podcast, Weirder Together, that you run with your wife. How did that come about, and what's the go with that?
It felt like we are talkative people. We are interested in culture. We just like to have a gab, and we have interesting friends, and it just felt like an obvious sort of thing to do. I think as we have gotten older, we've been more interested in our roles as cultural curators, because you realize that we still have sort of the same passion for music, movies, art that we did when we were 16, but most people's lives move on and they get real jobs and they don't have time to pay attention to that kind of thing. And we just realize that, especially for people our age, they want to know about what's cool and what's happening, and that like it does take it's like everyone needs their older brother or whoever to be like, hey, listen to this, we just started, it kind of just became, what's that? Say again?
Hey, marry this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So it just became, it really just became a vessel for that. And then we just have fun together, and we like hosting and talking and making each other laugh. She makes me laugh so much, and that is really at the core of, I think, the happiness of our marriage too. It's like just laughing so much. So I just like in our podcasting, we often generally like I sort of play the straight man a little bit, and she kind of goes off on these tangents and just kind of cracks me up. So
cool.
yeah, it's really good. And we just did a deal recently with Curious Media, which is Poppy Reed, who used to run Rolling Stone. It's her new podcast platform with Steve Grace, and then now they've been editing and everything for us too, which has just been such a relief because I did it for 4 years and now I'm enjoying it even more.
You touched on the content curation piece. One thing I find interesting is, like, obviously people make their own music but listen to a lot of stuff. How much is what you're making sort of influenced by what you're listening to at the time, or how much is the stuff that you make like the things, like, do you make something that's just like what you would like to listen to, or is the thing you make more like, this is what I like to make, I might not necessarily listen to this exact stuff?
Very direct phrasing of that question. No, let me try and answer that. That's a complex thing. My songwriting used to be more, I was like chasing things that I was listening to more.
Yeah.
I would get infatuated with something like Breathing Tornadoes was really influenced by Björk. Like I was listening to a lot of like electronic music and early, this is all like even people having Pro Tools. It was all, it was programming and all of that was very complex. It was early, and I just was so inspired by music without guitars on it, because everything I'd ever done had been covered in guitars, and like the whole scene I came from. So I got this thing in my head. I was like, the future has no guitars. You can't have guitars in it. You know what I mean? And you make all these rules because you do feel sort of like pressured in a way by how inspired you are by things, but it makes you explore new territory. Nowadays, it almost goes the other way, where I end up looking for things that fit the vibe that I want to do.
Yeah.
So on like this one's for the old heads, I was just feeling like this reinvigoration of like indie rock that I got into in the 90s. So I started like just jamming like all the time, like Teenage Fan Club and the Lemonheads and UMI and Big Star and Replacements. And so it's almost like I started using the way I listen to music to sort of like inspire what I wanted to do. But still, like, I'll hear, what Mallrat's doing, or what, just different people like Alex Leahy's doing. Like I went to see Alex Leahy and I was like, oh, wow, it's like the Pixies. It's just like, it just hit me again. I was like, oh, it's so good. So I definitely get inspired, but I find more and more I honor that, like, I'm in my space and it's got to feel good to me. It's got to feel natural.
Yeah, fantastic.
You talked about Nathan Fielder on your podcast recently. Obviously, we're all keeping up with the rehearsal. We've seen Nathan Fielder.
Did you watch the new one this week?
No, don't spoil it.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's just, profound.
They're somehow getting better and better. Like you watch the last one, you're like, oh, it can't get better than that. And then you watch the next one, you're like, well, it fucking did. So I'm not sure how that's
It's amazing.
What's your favorite part about Nathan Fielder, and what's been your favorite piece of like joke he's done along the way? Because he's obviously done like dumb Starbucks and some of the higher.
It's like comedy, but it's also like art in some way as well.
You mentioned Andy Kaufman before, and I feel like he's they're very linked in their style.
Yeah, I think the thing that's different, because coming from being such a big Andy Kaufman fan, I'm like a natural. I'm the target audience for Nathan Fielder. But Nathan is taking it to this other level where, like, Andy's thing actually felt self-destructive.
Yeah, that's fair.
It felt that, like, he was going to blow up his career and burn every bridge around him. Whereas Nathan is like, his moves, the way he moves through the industry, it feels much more in control in a way that, like, he's not looking to destroy himself, So it's like another level of taking this type of provocative performance art to like another level. Yeah. My favorite things he's done, I don't know. I mean, I've loved everything. Nathan For You, there's so many episodes. Like, it's one of those shows. Don't you ever just go like, you've never seen Nathan For You, and you start playing episodes. Like, oh wait, we got to watch that one. You want to watch another one? Okay, we got to watch another one. So you just keep going because they're just all so good.
I'm pretty sure your wife also met him at a party or something.
Yeah. We've met him a couple times because we're friendly with Jason Walliner, who directed The Claw. You know that episode?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's so I think we met him at his house, and then he was at a screening, and we saw him at Sarah Silverman's, but he's not. I've never had like a conversation where I feel like, oh, I've dropped it. It's like, hi, how's it going? You know, he's intimidating because he's
Really?
Yeah, well, just to me. I mean, it's like I don't know. Like when I meet people that I admire their work, I'm sometimes intimidated by them.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
it's not even that they're putting off a vibe. I'm just like Jonathan Richman, like two people that I've been completely like fumbled the ball in terms of having interactions with were Jonathan Richman and Jarvis Cocker from Pulp, who
right.
like they're both successful and famous musicians, but they're way bigger in my head than they are in like they're not like it's not like Madonna or Taylor Swift or you know what I mean or like Jay-Z. It's like they're just people that occupy such a big place in my artistic development that I felt like lost in front of them.
That's fair. Was Nathan like how he is on TV, or is it more or less a character completely?
I don't think it's a character completely, but I think he.
That might be the best sentence that we've had, to be honest.
You know when you you know those moments where he kind of breaks and you can see him smiling at what he's getting? I think that's the real Nathan.
Okay.
And he knows, like when I've seen him out, he looks pretty pleased with himself, which he should be.
I love that. There would be so many people walking around sort of on eggshells as well, similarly to what you were saying, like just with an air of like, what is going, like, are we part of something? Are they filming now? Like, you never know.
Exactly.
I came and saw you when you were in Perth 2 months ago now in March. You played
Oh, cool. Which show?
the acoustic show at the Kwinana Arts Centre.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, that was sick. I mean, it was really good. You were just like solo on stage with you and an amp. It was really cool. I loved
exactly.
it. Do you
Yeah, I love
like
that.
playing those intimate shows in comparison to some more rowdy ones at pubs and bigger places?
Yeah, I don't really have a rule for what makes a good show or the kind of show that I like. I've had really rowdy shows I love. I've had shows where you could hear a pin drop that I love. I mean, they can all be great. It's just this weird alchemical thing where you drop in and you just feel like, oh, we're riding something, and it feels good, you know.
What is your favorite gig you've ever played? Do you have one in your memory where you were like, oh, that was the best?
Do you know what? It's like saying like, what's your favorite time you've had sex? It's like, it doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because like, it's like,
They're all good.
it's a journey into sort of like a quite subtle shift in time and space that it's almost like some of the best shows I barely remember because they passed by in a second and everything just clicked.
Yeah.
And then you were like, did I just play a show? Like they're not memorable because it's almost like you just, I don't know, everything went right.
Yeah. On the contrary, have you ever had a worse gig that you remember then?
Oh, those you remember. Yeah. We call those character builders. I mean, any show that ends in physical violence is memorable and not a success in my book. For my type of music, if you're in a gang called Speed, you might feel differently about, you know.
That's a KPI.
It's a different thing. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's a show in Margaret River where I got bottled. Like someone threw, this was, you know, years ago, and a bottle exploded when it hit my head, a beer bottle. Like, went off stage.
Was there any reason as to why that took place?
It was just like a rowdy surf audio. I shouldn't have been playing. It was like a Margaret River surf contest. Like the festival at the end. But I got offered like a good, you know, it was a good paycheck. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Did you go back out after they bandaged you up, or is that
No. I broke my foot on stage once in Toronto. Those kind of shows. I had a show where like someone chased me, but I had a really strong drummer at the time, and he just kind of stood in between us. So all those ones. But honestly, the worst shows are the shows where I just don't feel happy with my performance. You can even have a show where the audience seems to love it, but if I feel like I wasn't able to just get into a space where the music I was making sounded good to me. And often that's a very psychological interior thing, but those are the disappointing shows.
Well, that's fair.
That's fair.
I mentioned off the top, you are about to tour as part of a 20-year anniversary of Awake is the New Sleep throughout Australia in September and October of this year. What are you most looking forward to? How many times have you done a lap around Australia now? You've been doing this for so long. Is there anything you're hoping that you get out of this that you maybe haven't got out of a tour before?
Well, yeah, there's no novelty in touring Australia for me in that sense. I love it. I do it over and over and over. For me, what's unique about this is I've never done an anniversary tour. 5 years ago, I would have said I'm never going to do one. I just don't. I don't think about the past in that way, or I didn't. And in a way, my wife writing her book helped me get over some of that because she really celebrated and explored the past, but it felt very present. It didn't feel like just like a cash in on the past. It felt like an artistic process based on the past. And so it kind of, I've never done an album all in a row. Like it's kind of fun. Like last night I saw the Lemonheads and they did It's a Shame About Ray and then Come On Feel, both in order. And I said to Evan before, I was like, oh, do you do them in order? He's like, oh, you have to. And I realized that like when the audience knows the song that's about to start.
That's true, yeah.
And they've listened to that album in that order over and over again, it's really powerful. And I'm kind of excited for that. I've just never done anything like that.
No, that'd be fantastic. We're actually at a gig on the weekend and similar to you, you're closing your tour in Fremantle. We're from Perth and I feel like everyone seems to close their tour in our town. Do you think there's a positive about that? Do you like really amp up for the last gig? Are we getting something special? Or do you think most artists get to the end and they're like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Look, the reality is that's neither. I remember when Bon Jovi were playing in Sydney in 1993 or something like that. And we had this debate amongst our group of friends which one to get tickets for. And which, there were like 5 shows and they were like, well, look, the first show, they're going to be so excited to be in Sydney. And then the last show, they're going to be so sad to be leaving Sydney. So I'd either go to the first or the last. And then you realize like you're talking about like, these were 5 shows probably within the middle of a 250 show world tour. I really don't think John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora were there going like, oh, let's give them something special. So I don't know. What makes shows special isn't those kind of milestones. I mean, sure, the last show of a tour is fun and you can tend to get you blow out your voice a little more because you don't have to get up early the next day. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to all of them. I mean, now the way I play now, I tour in a really different way because I'm sort of kind of constantly on tour. Like I'm actually taking a little time off before this tour just to like create demand essentially because I'm playing nonstop. But, I've played like 100 shows in the last year and I can't look at it anymore in terms of like the beginning and the end of a tour because it's like, we're musicians. This is what I do. And increasingly, because recorded music isn't as monetizable as it used to be, like playing live is my bread and butter. Yeah. So I look at it as like more like how Bob Dylan or Willie Nelson look at it, where it's just this like thing that just keeps going and will keep going. And I'm really lucky.
Yeah, fantastic. Would you have any advice? We have a lot of people who listen to the podcast who, as we've had young aspiring artists, and we often have a lot of people who are in that
creative space.
Yeah. Would you have any advice for someone who's looking to pursue a career in the arts, in music, just in general?
I mean, I would probably look. I am happy to give like specific advice when asked. Like sometimes younger artists are like, oh, do you think I should do a publishing deal or this or that? Or as far as if you want to actually do it or not, you have to not be able to not do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if you can avoid it, avoid it. That's how I feel basically about a career in the arts. Like if there is anything you could happily do, then you probably won't be successful. If there's anything else you could happily do, you probably won't be successful in the arts. Like it relies on a hunger and to get through the dark parts because I'm having a nice moment. Everyone's excited about this tour. But I've done many tours people are not excited about,
Yeah, true.
and many shows, and you have to get through all of that. You have to be able to talk yourself through it. And if you don't care about it, like it has to be kind of life and death. You know what I mean? Like if you don't care about it enough, don't do it, because you're going to put yourself through heartbreak and into complete financial instability without the reward of feeling like you're following your destiny.
I like it.
Bravo.
That's good. We do like to have, with every guest that comes on, thank you so much for coming on firstly. It's been a pleasure, and you've been
It's good chat.
so grateful for your time this morning. When we have a guest on the show, we do have the opportunity to give them a VI pack cap. So essentially it's a black Mac pack cap that only goes to our guests, and all of them are emblazed with a different number as well, embroidered with a different number. You're coming into the VI pack with pack number 33, Ben. So we'll get this one out to you over the journey.
Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So we have
It sounded like a lot of like rhyming words in there, but you're basically giving me a hat.
We're basically giving you a hat. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, thank you. I'll wear my hat.
You join like a club of other guests that have a hat, and you have a
Awesome.
specific number on your cap. We'll get that one out
Okay,
to you.
great. There's a number on the hat. Okay, good. Thank
it's the only one of its kind.
you. Amazing.
Get fired up about it. Ben.
Amazing. I will leave it to my children. It'll be in my will.
Oh, there we go. There we go. It becomes a keepsake for future generations.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us, mate. It has been an absolute pleasure. We'll undoubtedly see you in Fremantle when you come out here in September and October of this year.
Hell yeah.
Very
Cheers.
much looking forward to it. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate your time.
Yes, dude. What a show.
We have to do this the whole outro.
Oh no, we've lost it. We're not as good as Ben.
He's an absolute superstar. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. What a ripping bloke.
Ripping show, dude.
Ripping bloke, ripping show, ripping chat with a ripping guy. A lot of ripping going on.
Will we at his tour?
Yeah.
We'll be there, front row.
October/September.
We'll be wearing our hats. Wonder if he'll wear his hat. He seems to really like the hat idea.
He's like, don't worry, guys. I've got it in my cabinet at home, locked up.
Burning. It's embers. It's embers on the fire.
It's so cool to listen to talk to an artist that you like hear the music so much, but you hear them say the same words in the songs.
Yeah.
So it's cool to hear him say other words.
Yeah. Like he didn't even mention drinking beer and Coke. You know, one of the lines. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Beer with Coca-Cola.
Sing it. And
Oh yeah.
we'll
Beer with Coca-Cola. That's the way I
I thought
like
that was
it.
going to get a reference.
He's an absolute jet. I remember way back just listening to him, just watching. He was probably the first artist that I ever saw. Probably should have mentioned this to him, but he was probably one of the first artists that I was sort of introduced to in Australia. Like the hot hits used to be on. You get Pete Murray playing Better Days, An Opportunity. You get him doing, at the time it was Catch My Disease.
Yeah. The Fan.
Rob Thomas. Yeah, Bernard Fanning, Wish You Well. Like all these big songs, it very much entered my brain via Rage
Yeah.
and via Video Hits. I completely forgot about Video Hits. Everyone talks about Rage. Video Hits was elite. Channel 10, do they still do that?
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
Yeah, I think I mainly got introduced to Ben Lee through you guys, just through like looking through your Spotify playlists and stuff. You guys played them at your 21st, and I was like, oh, these are bangers. Like either you hear and you're like, oh, I remember these songs from like back in the day.
Yeah, there are just songs you're like, I just know that song.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
before I have memories.
I once did that with Coldplay. It was just on the radio, and this was when Shazam first came out. And I remember Shazamming Coldplay songs on the radio. And after like a month, I was like, fuck, I really like Coldplay. And I didn't realize that like all of my favorite songs were from Coldplay. And I was like, yeah, fuck, I guess that's one way to find out. I just have no idea. But like people like Ben Lee, I was well and truly aware of. Rob Thomas, well and truly.
Yeah.
James Blunt. Like I've talked about him on the podcast
The
before.
captain.
The captain. Aye, the captain. Who's also doing an anniversary tour this year. It was a big year, 20 years ago. This is what I mean. This is when like my two favorite fucking artists were dominating 20 years
And
ago.
now you've seen Rob Thomas. Have you seen Bernard Fanning or Powderfinger?
No.
That would be cool.
I don't know if they tour anymore. Bernard does. I don't know if he does it with the rest of the fingers.
That's right.
He's
He
the
definitely does it with the powder though.
he does the powder. They,
Sure,
do,
you got them out.
they do the fingers.
But yeah, if you like fast forward like 20 years ago, like it's like that man's dream is like this time when now they're all doing their 20-year anniversaries and stuff and
Yeah.
like doing the circuits again.
It's so
So
cool.
cool.
Nah, he's an absolute legend. I really enjoyed chatting to him. He's got a real calming energy about him. Like I liked listening to him.
Yeah, how nice is his voice? It's so distinctive, and it does sound how he sounds when he sings. Some
Yeah.
people don't sound as similar to how they sound when they sing.
True. And it's not an Australian sound though. He doesn't, or maybe, I guess we're pretty numb to it. When we're in Australia, people...
Yeah, no, he just has like a normal voice.
yeah. Like you don't notice an Australian accent until it's in like an American movie and you're like, oh, there's an Aussie
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
We watch TV every night. It's like, yeah, this is just how people sound.
Yeah, this is just voice sound.
This is how voices are. Yeah, Ben, absolute superstar. Thank you everyone who's tuned in. If you enjoyed listening to the show, make sure to ping us a message and leave us a review and whatnot. And make sure you mention the fact that like you liked an element of what Ben was talking about. That would be really cool. Second to that, he does have his tour in late end of September, and then he's coming over to WA in October.
And he's doing the full album in order. That's it.
Yeah,
I love that. I love when people do that.
Very cool.
I was going to ask him if he was doing that. And then he mentioned it. I didn't have to.
You'd hope that
pro.
the last track he does, or the last track on the album, isn't like a super niche album track that like didn't ever
Yeah,
get.
well, he would come back and do an encore
Oh, you reckon?
and play
Play Catch My Disease again.
bangers that aren't on the album.
Because when I saw him, he finished with Catch My Disease, and he didn't play We're All in This Together. I forgot to ask him about that. But he, yeah, and I was like, oh damn, like that was like one of my favorite.
Maybe
songs.
the encore wasn't loud enough.
I think. Well, he actually said during his live show that I saw him, he was like, it was like one of those intimate ones in like a really like tight little art center, and he was like, I can't be bothered walking back off and then back on again. Can we just do the encore now?
I like that. He does have that about him. Like he says what he thinks. I quite appreciate that, especially when he's done it for so long.
Yeah,
We don't need to do the semantics. Do we? Like,
Yeah, we all know.
We all know what's going on.
Encore.
It was an absolute pleasure, boys. Until we do this time next week, stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to
Go give your mum a hug.
shove for now, but not forever. G'day, guys. Hope you're enjoying the podcast.
As always.
We're about to be enjoying the podcast anyway. Yeah. If you are enjoying the pod, make sure to send it to a friend. Yeah. And excitingly, there's a brand new feature.
New feature alert.
On Spotify, which is that little feedback box.
The box. We love a little box.
And on the on each of the episodes, you can plug away a bit of feedback for the show. So you can literally say basically give us some feedback specific to the show that you just listened to, the episode you just listened to. No matter what episode you're up to, ping us in that feedback, and then you can that feedback will then feature for other people who are catching up or they're listening to the episodes. They will see that as well, and most importantly, we like to see it. So if you can share it with your friends and write a few little words in the box, it would mean the absolute world to us.